I feel like the company listens to us, and I feel like they hear our frustrations. They hear what we need. They hear. I mean, when it comes to daily sunshine, like how long have we been talking about like having something for kids, right? Like, I can almost, I feel like I can almost guess what they're going to come out with next based on what coaches complain about, because that's I feel how good they are at listening. So I don't want to go over any of the announcements from Summit or any of the announcements from the Surge tonight, because I'm hoping that you guys can do the legwork on that and figure that out if you were not at Summit. So you can check out your Coach Breaking News in the online office, or you can watch that Coach 411 page on Facebook for the details. Or if you want to know more about, like tonight, I was like, hey, is there going to be a daily sunshine challenge pack, or how much is the performance line with all access challenge pack? So I just went to the FAQ and I looked it up myself. So treat that FAQ like a Google search. It will be your best friend. So, okay. So the first thing that I do want to talk about pertaining to what Carl just touched on is the Team Cup. Okay. So he touched on it briefly. He asked a couple of those coaches like what their experiences were with Team Cup. I think that Team Cup can be an amazing catalyst for your business, and I want to make sure that I tell you both the really exciting Cup talk that I know Carl wants me to give you, and then I want to give you the reality too. So the exciting Cup talk that Carl wants me to tell you is like Team Cup. It's going to blow up your business, right? Like you're going to get on a team with 4 other coaches. You're going to start recruiting like crazy. You're going to start inviting to challenge groups like crazy. You're going to go for like the most challenge pack sales you've ever had so that you can really make an impact and change lives. And the truth is that is exactly what Team Cup is about. It's a friendly competition. It's no pressure. It's just you with 4 other coaches. Most of the time you guys are connecting weekly. You guys are keeping each other up to date on your successes and your failures and that kind of stuff. So that's the pep talk that I want to give you, that I know he wants to give you. The other side of this is this. I have been a coach now for over 7 years, and I have done every Team Cup that they've ever had, which is usually 2 or 3 times a year. They do two Team Cups and like the Fall Classic. So I've done every single one, right? So 7 times 3 is 21. I've done 21 Team Cups. About 18 of those 21 have resulted in either everyone hitting Success Club 5 or less than that. Okay. So we met weekly. We got on our calls. We really pushed. We went for that, for the no's. You guys, those of you guys who are following that challenge right now, we went for no, like we helped each other through the conversations. We grew through it. Right. And I didn't win the Team Cup. Like all 21 times I didn't win the Team Cup. And so this is the reality that I'm sharing with you, right? So, but a couple years ago, and I thought it was interesting that Michael shared this a couple years ago, we made a run and we ended up finishing 8th place in the Team Cup, which is a pretty cool thing for thousands and thousands of coaches. But I had done 17 Team Cups before that one. And so I tell you this because you're like, wow, this is really inspiring, Jenny, thanks. But I'm telling you this because the difference maker, so I have two main takeaways from that story. Number one is I never quit, right? I've been in this business over 7 years, and I've done every single Team Cup. I did it with people who didn't show up on the calls. I did it where it was just my husband and I talking to one other person. Like I've been that person who's just constantly been there and shown up. And the 18th time that I showed up, we had an 8th place finishing team. Okay. So that's why I'm telling you this, because this business, sometimes you guys need the reality of it. It's hard and it kind of sucks. And sometimes you show up on a call and there's no one there. But the point of it is to just say you're in anyway and to do the work anyway and to say, I'm going to read my PD every day, drink my shake, press play, invite to my challenge group. I'm going to talk to so-and-so about coaching. And I'm going to do this whether the other 4 people in the group do it or not. But I'm hoping that by doing it myself, the other 4 people will also do it. So it's a business accountability group. It's not sexy. I'm just going to tell you, like, you might get first place, but the odds are against you for first place. So if you're going into this thing thinking, yeah, Team Cup, I want you to feel that way. But I want you focusing on the right activities in that Team Cup instead of thinking, if I don't win, I might as well stop. Because I think if you go into it thinking, I'm just going to get better. I'm going to do this so that I can be around other coaches so that we can stay accountable in our business and so that we can hit Success Club, shoot for Success Club 5, and then go from there, right? Make that your benchmark for the team cup. So sometimes, at the last time we put a message out about Team Cup, there were a lot of people that were like, oh, I feel a little pressured about it. And I think it was because we talked about how we were an 8th place finishing team, and people were like, oh no, I don't want that pressure. So I wanted to make sure that I told you both the highlights and also the reality, which is, if you're in this business, and obviously you guys are, because you're showing up on this call, you're showing up on the Surge, you're going to Summit. If you're in this business, you got to do things like Team Cup, because Beachbody Corporate's putting them in place for you to propel your business forward. Okay, that's number one. So form your Team Cup teams, figure out who's going to be on them. It doesn't matter who. I think they have a cap of, I think now it's like 2 diamond coaches per team. Is that right, Abby? 2? Yeah. Our lawyer always knows the policies and procedures. So, so now we can have 2 diamonds per team. So just, connect with your upline, say, hey, upline, do you have a team, or do you know people that I can be on a team with? But Team Cup needs to be a priority for us heading out of Summit to keep the momentum going. Okay. Let's see. Shift Shop Challenge Group. I don't think I need to talk a whole lot about that, because I know you guys are in it. So we're doing preparation week this week, and then the official workouts and everything kick off on Monday. So one thing I do want to mention, because I've been getting this question a lot today, I want to make sure you guys know. You know how we did the last couple of challenge groups for the team where I provided a set meal plan, right? Where I gave like the grocery list and everything else. This is different because the Shift Shop nutrition plan is giving them that information. So they have a little bit more freedom to choose what it is they want to eat, but the resources are exactly the same, and they're still there. So the grocery lists are still there. They just have to actually choose what they want to eat. So I had someone message me today and say that someone didn't like blueberries. If they don't like blueberries, they can do strawberries, right? Strawberries are still a purple fruit. So that's the flexibility and the awesomeness of the Shift Shop meal plan. I will also tell you that the Shift Shop meal plan is not the 21-day fix. Okay. And I think that that's something that they left out of telling a lot of people. The 21-day fix has been a revolutionary program for so many coaches and customers. The Shift Shop is not that. Okay. So it's not intended to be a long-term lifestyle. It's not intended to be something that you're doing permanently. It's intended to get people great results in 3 weeks. That's the point of it. So it's very similar to for those of you who know, like the 21-day fix countdown to competition. It's kind of like that. So you're going to wean off your starchy carbs. You're going to ramp up your efforts. So the results are going to be really awesome, but just make sure that your customers understand that, right? Because especially if you have customers who have done 21-day fix, I hate to say it, but they're not going to be able to have Ezekiel garlic toast on this program. There's no grains, so they're going to have to stick to the meals, and they're kind of boring compared to the 21-day fix, but that's okay because we're going for results. So last but not least is, I mentioned this on the live stream, but I'm going to run a duplicate group called I'm Here to Help for our team. I'm going to utilize the content that Carl gave me. I was in the selected 1,000 coach group that was led by Carl. And so I saved all of his posts for 70 days. And I have all of those. And I think that he makes some amazing business tips. And I think it's just to have access to his brain and his thinking and his train of thought is just, you guys who were at Summit, you guys know, like there's nothing better. Like you feel like you're learning from the best. So I feel like the intention of this group, just so you guys know, leading up to Summit was to connect with some of the top coaches in the business personally. So that's why he kept it to 1,000 coaches or less. And he wanted to see what's going on. Like, how are challenge groups being run? Where are coaches struggling? What are they not doing as far as, when it comes to acting on their business? So he asked us for a lot of feedback. He heard a lot from all the coaches in the group, and then he created content to help us through all of that. So the number one thing that he noticed right away was what we consider limiting beliefs, self-limiting beliefs that we can't do this business, or that we're not good enough, or we're not smart enough. And that is a very strong theme throughout those 70 days. So anybody on this team who's interested in hearing what Carl has to say, especially on the topics of self-belief, and then hearing also what I have to say, because I'm going to throw in my 2 cents too. I'm just going to be sharing that in a 70-day group. So no pressure. I'm going to do it just like Carl did it. There's no pressure. It's more just hear about it, hope that it fuels your business, keeps you motivated, keeps you accountable. So if you want in that, you can let your upline know. That's going to start on August 1st. So I think in my live stream I said next week. That's because I haven't slept much lately. So next week is the 24th, and next week is our Shift Shop start date. So we're going to start Shift Shop, and then the next week we'll start the I'm Here to Help for coaches. Okay, so that's all I have as far as team announcements and things that I wanted to sort of elaborate on from Carl. Hang on, it looks like you guys are chatting and I haven't even looked at it. So let me see what you're saying. Yeah, the new shopping cart and website is going to be amazing. I love that they're revamping the Coach Online office. So, okay. Yeah. Is there anyone that was breastfeeding in the test group that I could connect with about meal plans? I can definitely ask. I still have access to the test group. They're continuing. It's just ongoing. So I can ask. Typically, I will tell you, and we can maybe even talk offline too, because typically, yes. So, okay, if anybody is on this call right now, I am recording it, and I might regret that later. But I talked to my success partner, Erin Young, today, and I told her the same thing. If you take the calorie bracket assessment for the Shift Shop, and it tells you that you are category A, I want you to bump it up to category B. So if I'm talking to you right now, and you've already figured out that you're category A, you will be hungry. So go ahead and bump yourself up to category B. This was something that came up a lot in the test group. There were a lot of females in particular, not breastfeeding, I'll get to that in a second, not breastfeeding, but just females in general who were like, I'm hungry. Like, I don't know, I normally eat more than this, or I normally eat more fats than this. And like I said before, this is not a lifestyle meal plan, right? This is a results meal plan. But Beachbody still didn't want us to starve. That's not the point of the program. So they ended up telling us, I would say they told 80 to 90% of the people in the group to bump up from A to B. They didn't necessarily say to bump from B to C or C to D, but for that low level bracket, that bracket A, to go ahead and bump up to B. So if you feel like you take a look at that and you're like, I don't know, this is a lot of food for me, then try it, right? Try it. But if you're like me, when I looked at that, I was like, I'm going to be hungry. And so I ended up doing like almost 2 weeks of category A. And I remember one night, because you guys, when I'm committed, like I follow it, like, I mean, I'm in, right? Like I had my water measured out, like I was following it to a T. And you can ask Chris, like one night I went to bed and I was like, my stomach hurts because I'm so hungry. And Chris was like, just eat something. And I'm like, I can't, like I committed. And if I eat anything else, I'm going to go over the bracket. And I was like all stressed out. And he was like, honey, a banana never made anybody fat. He's like, you can have a banana. And I was like, okay, I'm going to have the banana. And then the next day I posted in the test group and I was like, I ate a banana. And the nutritionist in the test group said, you need to bump up to category B. You'll be much happier. And so I did. And I had way better results and I felt a lot better too. So similar to the 21-day fix plan, the macros are what are important, right? Like you can bump up your bracket, but you're still getting a good amount of macros, or your macros are still in line and in alignment with each other. And that's where you're going to see the results. So I just wanted to offer that. So in response to the breastfeeding thing, yes, feel free to go ahead and bump up your bracket, but I would say you probably want to add an extra protein, so an extra red and an extra blue, which is your fats. I would try that first. If you're still hungry, you can add the green. The cool thing, I don't know if you guys have seen this yet or not, but the cool thing about the greens is you have unlimited green containers with the Shift Shop program. So it's funny because there would be people in the group who'd say, it's 10 o'clock at night, I'm hungry, what can I have? And the nutritionist would be like, carrots. And then the person's like, I don't want carrots at 10 o'clock at night. And then they just go to bed, right? So, but with the greens, you can have as many of them as you want. So I would load up, like I didn't even count toward the end of the program. I didn't even count my green containers for my salad. I just put as much spinach in there as I could eat so that I could fill up, right? Or as much shredded carrot, tomatoes, whatever. One thing you guys should know, for those of you Fix8 lovers, you can use the Fix8 grandma's tomato sauce. And it does not count toward a purple because there's no added sugars. So it will count for you guys as greens. Sorry, this is totally off topic, but I thought I should share because it was a game changer for me. When I found out that I could use that marinara and count it towards greens only and not purple, that was a huge game changer. So on the Shift Shot program, you have to count marinara sauce as a purple, but that's a jar of marinara sauce because there's so much sugar added. If you make your own and you're following the Fixate recipe, it is green. A way better way to flavor your food with that marinara than like a plain piece of chicken. So, okay. Anyone else? Any questions? So, okay, so I think that's pretty much my big long spiel. I'm glad you guys hung on for all that. I do want to offer another team mastermind group. I don't know why this is cutting my head off. I do want to offer another team mastermind group. I just talked to Amy Snow today. She's sort of our resident life coach for the team. So she and I are trying to work on a book for that. So once we know what book we're going to do and when we're going to start, I will put that out to the whole team. If you're new to the team and you don't know what I'm talking about, we do offer typically quarterly opportunities to be part of a personal development mastermind group. So we have one of my best friends in the world is a life coach. She's my life coach. She's a leadership coach through the John Maxwell team. She leads us through a book, and we meet every week for like 4 to 6 weeks to talk about what we're learning and to apply that stuff. So it's been a game changer for a lot of coaches on this team. And I know that we're looking into, for this next one, something that will cover 2 areas that we feel we need improvement. One being those limiting self-beliefs, which I'm hoping that this I'm here to help group also helps with, but also hustle. Because I think that at the end of the day, our team is very strong with heart, but not so strong when it comes to everyday hustle. So we're trying to look for something that might cover both areas for us. So once I have that book and the start date, that will go out to the team in the weekly announcements. Are you guys like, do you feel good about everything that Beachbody's putting out? Like, do you feel like, I know I feel excited. Like I don't think I've been to 6 summits, and I have not ever come away. I mean, I didn't really like New Orleans, like the city, but I loved everything that Beachbody's doing. Like I felt like, yes, this is what we need. This is what we want. So I don't know, Joellen, if you saw or not, that they put an official date on the UK launch. Did you see that? You're mute. I think you might be muted.
Yeah, I was muted. No, well, I just read up on everything last week, and so if they did it go to October?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because originally it was like September.
Yeah.
I think, and then, well, actually, originally I think it was even earlier in the year.
I know it keeps getting pushed back, but they've put an official day on it for October 21st.
Yeah, and so I was trying to get information together. I have like a few people that are interested in it, but one particular person I really want to sign up as a coach, but he works at a gym and he thinks it could be a conflict of interest. So I'm trying to find out what I can about it, so I know for him if it is a conflict of interest. Mm-hmm. So
I bet he makes like $15 an hour at the gym, though.
It's probably less than that. They make minimum wage, and so he has to, his personal training that he does on the side, he makes more money. But at the gym itself is like minimum wage. It's awful, but that's typical for the UK. Like all salaried positions at any job, they're much less than what we make in America.
Yeah, well, I mean, he would have crazy potential with like training folks online through the challenge group.
Yeah, he would.
Yeah.
One of the girls that was in the Court of Force training was from the UK, and I'm pretty sure that she also works at a gym. So, and she's in process of becoming a coach. So it might depend on the gym, but
it does. He's part of what it's called David Lloyd. It's like a really big gym there, and they sell their own products. So they have their own protein shakes, they have their own greens, they have their own. So he just is concerned there could be a conflict of interest. So I'm just trying to find out as much as I can for him. beforehand. So
Cool.
doesn't mean he won't still do it. Might sign up and make his wife sign up and do it, and he does it on the side. I'm not really sure how we're going to do that.
Yeah, there you go. Workarounds. So did you guys happen to see, do you guys follow Darren O'Lean on Facebook? I saw last night that I don't know if he has helped produce it or what, but there's a new documentary out that he's endorsing. Sorry, I feel like I've got like a mosquito in my eye. It's called like Beyond Food or something like that, I think was the name of it. Check out his Facebook page. And if you're into that sort of stuff, if you're into nutrition and learning about, I guess, being on the inside of Darren's brain, it sounds like he was involved in that documentary, which is cool.
Have you seen the documentary, What the Health?
I have not seen that one. Is it good?
Well, somebody at work just told me about it, that I need to watch it, and it's going to totally freak me out. Is what they said. It's like, yeah, so I haven't watched it, so I probably shouldn't be telling anybody about it. But it's a lot about proteins and what they do in your body, like meat products and dairy products and what they do to your body. And it's kind of like the shock factor kind of thing. So I'm anxious to watch it. I guess it's a Netflix thing, and I'm not a Netflix person, so I don't know.
We've watched.
It's on.
Oh, go ahead.
It's on Netflix. It talks about the dairy and the meat industries, and kind of unravels all the stuff that's behind all of how they make and how they process and everything like that. And it's pretty, I guess, disturbing. And what I've read from people's comments who have seen it, most people go to a vegetarian, vegan diet for, I don't know, a few weeks, or if it's something they sustain. But a lot of people in the threads about the show have been saying that they've been switching their diets completely to a no meat or dairy diet after watching. So hopefully you have a strong stomach.
There's a book out that I read before I got my nutrition license. There was a book that I read called The China Study. Man, that thing, you can't, like, so with documentaries, right? Like, they're based on someone's opinion. Well, they claim it as fact, but it's based on someone's opinion. And so with the China Study, it's pure scientific study. So if you haven't read that, and again, you're into nutrition, it's a really good one to read. It's a little dense, but what they ended up doing was these two scientists got a grant to be able to basically compare the diets of the Chinese to the diets of the Americans at a time when there wasn't fast food, when fast food wasn't super prevalent in China. And they specifically take a look at, like, you guys have heard of casein protein. So casein protein and its effects, and they basically identify that casein protein is directly linked to cancer. And so it's a really cool study. Not that that's a cool thing, but it's a really cool study to read if you're into that sort of thing. So very similar. But yeah, I saw that about Darren, and I thought I'd share. Okay, so I'm going to end it with this, and then if you guys, I can stay on here for about 5 more minutes if you guys want to stay on and ask questions. But I did this with the folks that went to Summit. So we have a Facebook group for the people who went to Summit. And it seems like the resounding response that I'm getting to the question, what does your business need right now, is I need more belief in myself, or I need more belief that I can do this. And so what we ended up doing was I listened to a podcast a couple days ago. It's actually in the School of Greatness podcasts. It's called It's Time. And so it's a Lewis Howes podcast. If you guys aren't into podcasting, podcasts are free, that you can download them on your smartphone. But what I had the group do this morning was to listen to that podcast. It's 5 minutes long. I told them to listen to it before they do anything else in the morning. So before they brush their teeth, before they open their Facebook or whatever you do first thing in the morning, I wanted them to put their headphones in, or turn them, volume up on some speakers and listen to that podcast. And it's a motivational 5 minute long podcast that I believe speaks belief into you first thing in the morning if you do it first thing in the morning. And so they did that, and I had them share their before and after. So before they press play on the podcast and after they press play on the podcast. And I don't know if some of you guys are on here. I don't know if you guys looked through those photos or not, but I think it speaks volumes to say sort of like the confidence level that was brought to the table after just 5 minutes of listening to that. And so why am I sharing this with everybody? Because this is recorded, so I know there will be people who listen to it later too. I think that one small thing that we can do as a team, individually, but as a team, for the remainder of this year is to wake up every morning and do 5 minutes of personal development. I think that's a very feasible request. I think that's a very feasible task to do each and every morning. So I don't want you to get overwhelmed by it. I think it's as simple as I'm actually going to be providing some really cool podcasts that are just like that. So I don't know if you guys heard on that one that Lewis is actually starting to do more like that. He's actually partnered with Fearless Motivation to do more podcasts for them that are like those 5-minute motivations. But Chris Downing also shared with us his library that he taps into each and every morning of very similar confidence building, personal development style motivation audio experiences. So I'm going to share those resources with the team, because I think if everybody that's on this call, everybody that listens to this, everybody who's working this business, if you're struggling with limiting self-belief, it's like someone who says, someone who's struggling with their weight, but who isn't willing to do anything about it. So if you're struggling with limiting self-belief, you have to take the step toward doing something to improve that self-belief. And again, I want to be able to tackle that a little bit in our team mastermind, but I can't control, anybody's belief in themselves. But you guys can make that small decision to do something that small each and every morning. So whether it is an alarm that you set in your phone, or it's a podcast that you download the night before, or whatever, I think that if you guys commit to it, I think you would see a huge improvement in your business. How many coaches did you hear at Summit, to those of you who were there? How many, Ruth Schrauner, who's number 1 right now in the network, lots of top coaches stood up there on stage and said, I was feeling really broken and down, and not just in my business, but in my personal life. And this is going to sound crazy. How many times did we hear this at Summit? But the person would literally say, this is going to sound crazy, but I started starting my days with personal development and affirmations. And by doing that, I started to become what I said that I wanted to be. And so if this speaks to you right now, then awesome. I hope that you do it. If it doesn't, then, ignore me. Maybe you don't have any issues with belief. But I think that this is one small step that we can all take, because sometimes books, you just don't want to read. It's summertime. It's light later. You don't want to lay down in bed and read a book or whatever. But I think that we can start every morning that way. It's going to set the tone for your day. Brendan Burchard was a keynote speaker at Summit, and I had the chance to meet with him Friday afternoon, and he told us in that group that he sets various intentions, like multiple intentions throughout the day. So he told us that he has an alarm in his phone that goes off 6 times a day, and the alarm says, who needs me to be on my A game right now? And so the alarm goes off 6 times a day, and it says, who needs me to be on my A game right now? So so I set my alarms on my phone, and yesterday that exact question went off at the time that I was literally trying to do a million things at home. Chris and I were both stressing out because we're moving. We've got a lot of stuff going on. We're traveling again next week. And my mom and dad were sitting in here, and we literally, Chris and I are looking at each other like, are they going to leave? Like, what's going on? We have so much to do. And the alarm goes off on my phone. And I was like, I think my parents need me to be on my A game right now. Like, I think they need me to be present. And so it was just an awesome reminder, and it was a chance for me to sort of like reset my intention with that relationship for the day. And so whether it's doing that and setting an alarm, or, setting an affirmation in your alarm, or if it's doing some sort of audio podcast in the mornings, I hope that you'll take me up on that challenge for the remainder of the year. So I'll end it with that. Everything else will come in the weekly announcements. Let's rock the Shift Shop Challenge group next week. If you guys have any personal questions, I'll hang on here for a minute. Otherwise, have a great night, and I'll see you soon.
Jenny, something that I did before you told us about that Brendan Burchard thing was I had set a 5 a.m. alarm called Check the Body Electric page every day because I find you to be motivating that way too. And when I get in a slump, if I connect with you and what you're posting, what you're saying, it usually helps like give me a little kick in the butt. So I've decided to start my day with checking the body electric stuff, and then maybe I won't be so far behind all the time.
No, that's cool. Yeah, alarms are super helpful, for sure. Yeah. For sure. No, I appreciate that. Yeah, and I just now saw your message, Abby, about the Darren Hardy or the daily, whatever it's called, Darren Daily. That's another easy way to get PD. You can sign up for his, it's called Darren, I think it's darrendaily.com. And he sends you a text every morning at like 8 a.m. with a 3 to 5 minute video of whatever topic he wants to cover. The last few have been really good. I thought the one yesterday was really good too. About, did you see that one? It was the story of it was like 2 minutes long, but it was about this grandfather telling his grandson that he had 2 wolves living in his mind. And
no, I think since I just subscribed,
okay,
it's on a different schedule.
Gotcha. Oh yeah, probably. So yeah, it was a story about this grandfather who tells his grandson that he has 2 wolves living in his mind, and one is the fears and the negative thoughts, and one is the positive, the energy. And the son says, "Well, who wins?" And the grandfather says, "Whichever one you feed." And so it was a really powerful story, but you set your day with that, right? And you're like, yeah, I'm going to feed the positive energy today. So I'm a total believer in the cheesy, in quotations, you guys are going to think this is crazy, but I'm that person that's like, no, I don't think it's crazy. I think it's absolutely what it takes. All the top coaches that I'm close with in this company blow my mind with the types of things they do like that. When I first started working with Erin Young, she started sending me messages every morning at like 5 a.m., which I was not an early bird at the time. And I would wake up like 2 hours later to her text, and it would be like, "We're going to rock this day." And I'd be like, "Whatever, Erin, it's 7:30 or, whatever." But I am blown away by how many successful people really start their day that way. So I think we should too. Cool.
It was so weird to see Erin on stage, like at speaking, and I'm like, she's a real person though. Like, she's not supposed to be up there.
Yeah.
It was cool. I was like, I drank margaritas with that lady. Like, what the heck? But it was also amazing because her and Erica Buzzard spoke at my very first Super Saturday in Fishers at your gym, and
right.
Now I'm like, oh my God, now she's all stiletto heels and a black dress.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Up there, and it's just cool to see what can happen. So
for sure. Yeah. I mean, I think it's cool that Beachbody gives opportunities to up and coming leaders too. I think that's a cool thing, because I know my first few summits, I felt like I was hearing from the same like founding coaches, and now I feel like they're doing a really great job of mixing it up and combining veterans with newbies, and yeah, so awesome, you guys. So has anybody here that's still on here started Shift Shop already, or are you guys waiting till Monday? Is it killing you to wait?
Yes.
I know, right?
3 times.
I felt like we needed a prep week, and the official group with corporate starts Monday too, so I think it'll be good. But I know there are people in the group. It's kind of funny because I don't know if you guys saw, there are some people, like a few people in the Body Electric group who started this week. And I think it's going to be so fun because they're going to be ahead of us. And so I can't wait to see their reactions before everybody else starts. But it's going to be awesome. I've had a lot of people ask me or tell me that, I'm worried about it. Like, it's because it is intense, but it really is a beginner program. So if you have customers that are struggling, because I'm sure you will, let them know that they can modify and they can just get through it. Do the hard things. Okay, you guys, I got to rock and roll. I need to shower. Like, nobody wants to keep listening to me. So I will see you guys in the team page. Have a good night. Miss you guys. See ya.